I feel like it's super easy for like a really general main consumer to get their hands on, as well as be able to kind of coordinate with their outfits, be proud of these sneakers. I feel like an older gentleman or even older woman that wanted a pair of Jordans because they never got them as a pair of kids, they could definitely rock this and people wouldn't be like, oh, he's trying too hard.
For sure.
As well as a younger kid as well could rock those at school.
Because I feel like 13s can be a really loud shoe.
They can be. Especially with like the playoff, the really hard black and red colorways.
Mm-hmm.
And
the tongue comes up so high that like people are going to know that's a basketball shoe, know that it's a Jordan, I feel like.
And the material on the upper, it reminds me of like upholstery, like on a couch.
Yeah.
So
it's really hard, I feel like, to do like wear 13s the right way. Mm-hmm. But I do think that this is a shoe that is going back to the unisex 12 earlier. I think this is a shoe that could go for guys and girls, and they'd be able to pull it off. So yeah, there's that 13. There's a couple other shoes I wanted to show you kind of later. Oh, it's this so it's a Jordan 1, and it's like the Shadow 1, right? But the gray hits are satin.
Really?
And the black hits, I think, are like this corduroy, it looks like, or... Yeah, and then it has this like chenille swoosh on it, like that kind of furry Letterman letter thing like for the swoosh. Jacket. Yeah, I actually really like these. It's a collab with I don't know who this girl is, to be honest. You know her?
Is she an artist or something?
I don't know. Let's
look her up. Look her up.
I'm gonna butcher the name.
No, this is my first time seeing this sneaker. Yeah, I didn't even know a sneaker like this was released.
I was trying to surprise attack you to get your legit first.
She's an artist.
So I think she's like a fashion designer. She looks like a model or a fashion designer. She's a blog dedicated to fashion, art, music, and lifestyle.
Okay, so she's like a social influencer.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's pretty cool.
Good for her.
So
hey, maybe one day we'll get our own.
Hey, I could definitely see us doing a satin Jordan. That would be
really head ass sneaker,
or some high suede.
Oh, dude, I would go bananas. Well, actually, kind of a tangent, but still kind of on topic. Saucony did a huge collaboration project with YouTube collectors. I don't know if you saw a lot of those.
Oh yeah, I saw
Bullets. Tony had one, I think.
Tony had one.
I know Hess Kicks.
I did not like Bullets at all.
They were alright. They were like too all over the place from my style.
Yeah, it did not seem like it had a
theme
or direction or a train of thought that was going a certain way.
And what this definitely does fit his style where it is now. He's definitely
I know. Like, I feel like he could rock those. And I could totally see him. Like, if Saucony just came out with that colorway, he'd be like all over it.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Saucony. I love the Grid 9000 series. I'm sure a lot of people do who are into like the lifestyle casual runner look. But they did a huge... I was really excited for that when I saw all of my favorite YouTube collectors, like, you know, Hess Kicks is one of my favorite. DJ Dells, who's one of the first sneaker collectors I actually started watching. He was one of the first guys that kind of like helped me into learning about sneakers, the collector aspect of sneakers and all that stuff. DJ Dells got a great looking shoe. He's one of my favorites. Fomer Simpson. I don't know. There's a whole list of them. You guys can look it up. But they did a lot. They did a huge collaboration with all these YouTube collectors. Let them each design their own shoe, their own colorway materials on it. I thought that was super cool. Especially,
shout out to Saucony for that.
Yeah, big shout out. I love it when I see like brands like that collaborating with these influencers.
Yeah. The thing I like about Saucony doing that is I think it's like a different level of sneaker collabs. You know? Like, we got... Most of the sneaker collabs are either super top tier, so like Kanye with his Yeezys and Drake. And then we got some like lower tier stuff, like the Fear of God stuff. Any kind of like
Even Kendrick's collab with Reebok.
But it still seems like they're these big celebrities that are the only ones that get to really influence the sneaker community like that, to that level. And so I think it's nice to see some of these lower scale guys that are, just YouTubers, or if they were to reach out to some other kind of small influence, like either like small boutiques or something, and have their own shoe. I think it's super cool. I think it's good to have different levels of collaboration.
And it's genius from Saucony's standpoint, because obviously Saucony, I come from a marketing background, so Saucony obviously isn't one of the top tier sneakers in regards to the sneaker market. They don't own a lot of market share. A lot of people, besides like strictly like a lot of runners, a lot of cross country track runners and stuff, they rock a lot of Saucony. But to the generic public, I feel like there is a negative connotation if someone sees someone in a pair of Sauconys like, oh, you broke. When in reality, Sauconys are actually pretty expensive, and they're well put together too. But Saucony used the platform of YouTube, collaborating with all these YouTubers, other sneaker collectors, and they're genius in that sense, because now, each of these YouTubers has hundreds of thousands, if not like 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Now they're able to put their shoe on a platform for the generic. Those fans are going to support their favorite YouTuber, buy the shoes, as well as get Saucony's exposure back up, and showing that Saucony can throw out a really nice looking shoe and bring that kind of...
I think it's important to have as many sneaker companies on a competitive level with Nike and Adidas right now.
Disrupting.
Puma's getting there.
Fila's itching. They're clawing back, and
I feel like right now, people are starting to realize that Fila, and I think the same is going with the brand Champion.
And
that
Reebok.
it used to be like a broke boy, kind of like you pick that up at a Walmart kind of brand. But like now people are getting back into like the retro, like the 90s sweatshirts with the big fat Champion on it and that aesthetic. So I think it's good that these like brands that that used to be thought pretty poorly of by the general public are kind of itching and clawing their way back in. And I think as a sneaker community, we should be like promoting them almost, and like trying to support them, because if there's more competitors out there, then it just means like sneakers are only going to get better, prices are only going to get better, accessibility, that's still a question depending on like hype shoes, but yeah, man, like don't be afraid to go out and buy some Fila shoes. I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple models that are pretty solid.
No, so like I really like. Because, like, a lot of people don't understand, at least I'd say more when I say this, I'm talking more to, like, the younger kids, but Starter, Champion, Fila, Reebok, they used to run the game back in the day, or at least not maybe run the game, but be bigger than what they were.
Yeah, like, I like, getting a pair of Starter socks wasn't, like, like, that was, like, normal, like, that was up there with, like, Nike socks, I felt like.
Oh, yeah.
At least when I was, like,
Starter
a kid.
jackets, my favorite jacket I own, I got it thrifting, but Starter Chicago Bulls jacket from way hellas ago. Anyways, Fila, talking about Fila shoes, Fila actually has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, like...
Ooh, really?
I don't know if it's a collaboration. It came out, like, I want to say, like, 6 or 7 years ago. It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. It's a Fila... I forgot the model off the top of my head, but it's a high top. And it's an all-green gum bottom, and they have a strap right at the top. But they have 4 different bands you can interchange, all the different colors of the Ninja Turtles, the purple, blue, red, and orange. Those were sick. I love the Ninja Turtles. As well as all the Grant Hill signature shoes, and like the Spaghetti Filas. Like, I think those are all great looking shoes, as well as like a lot of the Reebok classics. Anyways, they're all, long story short, they're making a comeback. I think it's awesome because it's disrupting the market. I love Nike. I worked for Nike, but it's cool to see these other brands starting to rise up and kind of give these bigger brands. It's like rooting for the underdog.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we're all, everyone's gonna still appreciate Nike. I don't ever think Nike's really gonna be turned into a brand people look down on, but I just think it's time to like have some more diversity in what you're wearing, you know.
I agree. And it's super cool for me because a lot of those YouTubers I started watching when their channels were a lot smaller. And like DJ Dells, he follows me on Twitter, and we've talked before a little bit. And it's cool to see him finally, like, it's cool to see him, like, see where he started and then see where he is now and be like, you know what, you earned that shoe. You earned that. And it's something super cool, at least for me, as a long-time watcher and a long-time fan of DJ Dells and Bullet RC. And me and Bullet have talked before. They're a lot bigger than I am now, so we don't.
They're too good. They're too good.
They're too big for me now,
Yeah.
but it's still cool
So
to see those guys.
going back to
Let's finish.
let's review. I got a couple shoes lined up that we can kind of look at and get an opinion on.
So
So going back to those satin Jordan ones.
Let me get a closer look at the materials.
So they're the Jordan ones with release with the collab with I'm gonna butcher this name, Aleali May. It's Aleali. And it's just titled Satin. So yeah, he's looking through the materials right now. I like this a lot. I'm all about kind of putting like a...
Is that the insole right here?
Yeah, the insole is like this leather...
I like that. It looks like the inside of a
Yeah.
limousine.
Yeah, it's like this... I think it's super dope to have something associated with this comfort and high class on a sneaker that people beat up. I feel like a lot of people beat up the one, and it's like they don't really care. So I think it's good to have those two come together.
For me, I'd say out of 10, I'd give this a 7 out of 10.
7?
I wouldn't say I would go out of my way, wouldn't camp out, or like I wouldn't flip out if I couldn't pick me up at one of these. But what's cool is, based on these pictures that we're looking at, guys, it looks like the materials are on the higher side quality wise.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate.
To me, that means longevity.
Yeah, Nike, at least the last few years, I'd say their quality has kind of gone down. But it looks like the satin's pretty nice. The corduroy is pretty nice. I love blacks and grays. I love the Shadow Air Jordan ones.
Yeah,
so.
if you're a fan of ones, this is up your alley. If you're a fan of the Shadow ones, this is definitely...
I'd say it's a pickup because you're going to get premium quality materials, it looks like.
In your favorite Shadow colorway.
Yeah.
So there's that one.
Why not if you can?
So this one is going to be a hot topic for Levi here. It's they've been releasing a bunch of these Nike Airmore up-tempos, and they got a Chicago colorway coming out. It's all red, but instead of the Air, it looks like they just got the lettering of CHI, Chi-Town.
Instead of the AIR.
Yeah. So, and it's not like the Supreme ones where it wraps around and finishes the word. It just says the 3 letters on each side. When I first saw this, like, it's not for me. I can definitely see this being up some people's alley, especially if the quality is really good. But I thought of Levi because I know he loves the Bulls, and this was one of those. It was the 96. Who wore it in 96?
97, Scotty.
Yeah. Yeah,
96,
so
97. So for me, Thomas was he was on Twitter. I don't know what we were doing, but he was the first one to show me. He flipped out. He's like, Levi, come check this out.
yeah, because I was
Nike's
like,
releasing a Chicago. Is it a Chicago exclusive or is it?
I think it is a Chicago exclusive.
And he's
'Cause
like,
I was
dude-
like, Chicago, Bulls colorway.
And I do talk about up tempos a lot.
Yeah.
I do love
So I
that
thought
tempo
this was like the perfect
perfect
collab
shoe.
for Levi.
And I flipped out when Thomas told me. And then he showed me the picture, and I'll be honest, guys, I was disappointed. I wasn't happy as campers. I think maybe I romanticized the idea, and I got too excited.
I hyped him up too much.
He did hype. I don't blame him, because I feel like if I were Thomas, I would have been like, Levi's going to love these shoes as well.
Yeah.
Because he said they replaced the word air with shy. I was like, wow, that's so sick. That's good for them. My issue with them is I think all red shoes are kind of played out by now, in my opinion, for my style. And I also like, if you guys look at these pictures yourselves, you'll see on the outside of this shoe, the letter